Hey everybody, JJ here, back again with another Saturday Zoom networking. And again, we have another phenomenal rock star guest speaker. I'm really blessed to meet people that are just really doing the deal and just are fantastic people. And today's guest speaker is definitely no exception to that. I've had the pleasure to meet him, God, months, if not a couple of years ago. Jack, it seems like I've known you friggin' forever.
Yeah.
Um, but this young man is one of the rising rock stars in Pace Morbius community. Um, just one of the nicest young men I've ever had the pleasure to meet. And I'd like to introduce my good friend, Mr. Jack Lander. Jack, how are you?
Hello, hello. Doing great, JJ. Appreciate you having me on here.
No, it's my pleasure. Ever since I met you, you've always friggin' impressed me. And I think we met at Family Promise. I know we met in Temecula, right? You were in the Temecula meetup.
Yeah, there's been a handful of different occasions. It's been a while though. I think I first met you at your first picnic that you had. I think 2 or 3 years back.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
actually 2 years ago.
2 years back.
That year we had Pace's book signing and we had the first annual picnic.
Yep, that was it.
And so for those that don't know you, where in the country are you located?
I'm in Southern California in Orange County.
Beautiful place.
Yeah, I love it.
Beautiful place, Orange County. So you and I met through Seb too. Let me ask, what did you do before you became an investor? Were you in medical field? Were you in law enforcement, military, retail sales, fast food, college? What was
College.
your college? Where
Yep,
where
yep.
where'd you go to school?
Cal State Long Beach.
Good
And I
school.
never wanted to get into to real estate. It kind of just fell on my lap. I wanted to get into sales. I wanted to own real estate, and then I met some people through different online communities. Then it got me into sub two, and then kind of just snowballed from there.
Awesome. So you've had the pleasure to meet Pace, of course.
Yeah, yeah, handful of times.
Yeah, good guy, really good guy. Gives back, leads by example.
Yeah, Pace is amazing. Actually, sold a few sub two deals to him about a year or so ago.
There you go. Hey, so when we get into sub two, I remember when I started, Pace said, you could be a dispo manager, acquisitions manager, TC integrator, and now there's a whole bunch of more avatars. But in the beginning, we all wear multiple hats. How did you figure where you wanted to go, and what's been your path since you've been in sub two?
Yeah, it's honestly it's been a roller coaster of different things, right? And almost like a shiny object syndrome kind of thing that I know a lot of people have experienced when they jump into something new. And I think the biggest thing for me has been keening in on one specific avenue and getting really good at it. Because I've tried doing the dispo, the acquisition, the buy and holds, only doing sub twos, and primarily now we're just running a wholesaling business and primarily focusing on novations. But yeah, I've done a little bit of everything. I want to start buying deals again. That's something I want to do shortly, but we weren't too successful with it previously, right? Hey, zero interest rate, low entry fee, let's buy, let's buy, let's buy. But then the numbers don't pencil out where, hey, this isn't a good investment for something. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So um, let's talk about novations for a second. I never knew what that word meant till I got into real estate investment, and actually never heard the word till I got into step two. So I have a little bit of an understanding. One of my friends is a novation guy. But for those that are watching right now on YouTube or those that are on the call right now, for those that aren't aware, what is innovation?
Yeah, so in simple terms, I call innovation an MLS wholesale deal, right? You're utilizing the MLS, the multiple listing service, so Zillow, Realtor.com, all those sites to essentially sell your deal with a realtor on the market. Essentially, a wholesale cash transaction is usually an assignment. So you're assigning your original purchase agreement to a new buyer, where a novation is more of a replacement. So you're replacing your original A to B contract with a B to C contract. And typically, it's going to involve a traditional buyer who's using financing and they're buying the house to live in it. Whereas a wholesale deal is usually an investor buying all cash, adding something to their portfolio, or flipping a house for profit.
Okay.
Yeah.
And are these hard to find?
They're actually very easy to find. The hardest part is it was a mental barrier I had for a year, probably a year and a half of hey, there's no way anyone's gonna take this when I pitch this, right? Why wouldn't they just list the house themselves on the MLS? That was always my thought, and I probably missed out on millions of dollars of revenue by having that thought for so long in that belief system, because I'd say 70% of our deals right now are novations. So they're out there. Any motivated seller who doesn't currently have a contract with the realtor, you can make a deal happen.
So what does innovation do? Someone has a house, they want to sell it. They've had it for a long time. Certain things need to be fixed. So there will be a contract between A to B, them and us, right?
Correct.
And then we want to then sell this to somebody else, which is somewhat of a double close, correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
But what happens to make this innovation? Are we fixing the property? Are we improving some things?
Yeah, so I would say I do know some people that do a lot of novations and whatnot in the industry, where some are almost like fix and flip novations, where they're doing tons of sweat equity, tons of work into the house, putting 40, 50, 60 grand into a house to bring it up to speed. And then I know the other 50% of people that do novations are more simple as is novations. And I would say we lean more towards the second option, because there is, of course, risk. If we put in 40, 50 plus grand into a house and then the seller gets cold feet or something happens, all your money's tied up, legal issues, it can get messy. So for our novations, what we're doing is essentially just treating it like a white glove service for the seller. That's how we essentially sell it. We're going to have a realtor from our network manage the process. They're going to market the house. We're going to have agents on our team as well do marketing. We're going to use our networks, our buyers pools, investor lift. We're going to do any sort of lender required repairs. We're going to prep the property, do some professional cleaning, get pictures, and handle the whole process for them. And the only person they're talking to is our client care coordinator. You don't have to talk to 50 realtors and have a bunch of in and out showings, open houses, all those things. So we really try to simplify the process and make it as white glove, hands off for them as possible.
Wow, that sounds
Yeah.
outstanding. Um,
Sold it, huh? Right? Versus, oh, we just list the house on the MLS. It's an MLS wholesale, right? We call it our concierge service, which a lot of people who do novations, they call it concierge service equity protection plan. We have a specific name for it within the company.
and I like your analogy or your label of the white glove treatment
Uh-huh.
because it sounds like you're essentially, although you're not doing major overhauls and major expenditure, you are cleaning up the property, correct? You are making it, beautiful and clean and the white glove treatment, so to speak. Is that correct?
Correct. I'd say the vast majority of the time we are. Yeah. There are some novations where we know it's a cash deal and we're just utilizing the MLS to sell the cash deal to an investor. So if it's a major fixer upper that we don't think is going to finance, then it doesn't make sense for us to clean it up and make it look pretty, because an investor is going to buy it at a low price anyway.
Now, are these predominantly in Southern California?
Funny actually. I'm maybe we do one deal in California a month. We're primarily doing deals in the Midwest. We run nationwide.
So now, how do you find these? I mean, if they're all over the country, what qualifies a home to be considered for you guys to pick them up and turn them into innovation?
Yeah. So for us, our business right now, 100% inbound marketing. So we run ads on YouTube and Google primarily, a couple different other avenues, PMax, demand gen, everything through Google Ads, essentially just little sub brackets where people are seeing ads on, hey, sell my house fast, cash buyer, no realtors, no commissions, buy my, just keywords like that. So we're 100% inbound. So these sellers are reaching out to us via phone call, or they're filling out a web form on our website wanting a cash offer on their property.
Troy Caudell, you're on with Jack Lander. What's your question, Troy?
Yeah, how have you seen novations work best in today's market, and what red flags would you watch out for?
That's a really good question. Um, and the market's always kind of changing and shifting. It seems like every single week. So I would say the biggest red flags I'd watch out for is not locking up a deal too tight numbers wise. Like we're shooting for $35,000 plus assignment fees or wholesale fees, novation fees, kind of all those terms go hand in hand. But our average deal size is still below 35,000. Like we're in the mid 20s, just because we have some sort of buffer room there for maybe the market's a little slower than we thought, maybe the condition was worse than we thought, just so we have some wiggle room there with our numbers. But I'd say the biggest thing right now, especially in Texas and Florida, is we're shooting for even bigger spreads than that, just because inventory is going up. Those markets are really slowing down, and a lot of properties are sitting on the market much longer than what we've seen. Um, of course, there's really hot areas where, regardless of what like the statewide trend is, stuff's still going to sell really fast. We still see that, but we've definitely noticed a shift in some areas with inventory rising. And ultimately, the good thing with us, though, doing off market deals is we're never going to get priced out. That just means we need to get better deals and price them more aggressively so we can sell them, quickly.
Mr. J. Medier, you are on with Jack Lander. What's your question?
Oh, thank you. Hi, Jack. How are you?
Hey, Jay, I'm doing great. How about yourself?
Good, good. I think my question falls in the same category because I'm saying that you're using the MLS. You're doing cash offers first. Isn't this typically what an agent should be doing, or what's the difference between you and the agent, and how does that come about?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. So, the thing with Novations is we don't have to be licensed ourselves. So I'm not licensed. No one on my team is, well, actually, one of our sales reps is licensed, but doesn't matter. No one needs to be licensed to do a Novation because we are finding a realtor, usually within our network, that will then take on the MLS listing and market the house for us. We're more of like we always explain it to like a realtor if they're not familiar with the Novation. We explain that we're their client and the seller is our client. So we're handling all the heavy lifting. Like some realtors are great. They'll go in and clean the carpets, maybe do some minor little paint touch-ups and things like that, and they'll do it for no charge. But a lot of the times realtors are just taking pictures and throwing the house on the market, and that's all they do. So for us, we're really trying to simplify the process and handle repairs and all communications for that seller. So it is very similar to just listing the house on the market, depending on what realtor you kind of have on your team. So we're making sure that it's as smooth as possible for the seller. And realtors typically won't come out of pocket $5,000, $10,000 plus for like lender required repairs, which we do. And we'll also do unique things as well, like cash advances, pay for moving expenses, things of that nature too.
Darren, you are on with Jack Lander. What's your question?
Hey Jack, how you doing today?
Hey, Darren, doing good, doing good. How about yourself?
Excellent, better than I deserve. Thanks for asking.
Nice.
I'm in the Chicagoland area. You mentioned that you're doing a lot of deals in the Midwest. Is there any particular cities that you're really starting to see quite a bit of traction in, and what might it look like for us to somehow support you or be boots on the ground or help out in any way? In essence, wedge myself in or squat up in some way. And then my second question is this Novation business model very similar to what Curbio does?
Um, thanks for the question. To answer your question first, I have a question. What is Curbio? That sounds very familiar. Is it like an iBuyer program or?
So Curbio networks with realtors in a city. They set up an office in a city. They
Okay.
network through realtors. The realtors bring them sellers who, let's say that the if you put 50, 60 grand into a house, it'll add, 80 or $90,000 of value to it when you resell it.
Uh-huh.
And they partner with the homeowner to basically come and give the house a facelift, new kitchen, bathrooms, whatever. They put up all the cash and they manage all the construction. And then when the property is sold, as its value has been raised, then they basically cash in on that raised value, and that's how they make their money. That's their business model. So they're kind of wedging themselves in, and the risk that they have is they bring the capital and then they bring the construction team in, do the rehab, what's needed, while the owner owns the property, and then they basically market it and sell it. So it sounds very similar to what you guys are doing. And I don't know to what extent are you guys putting 10, 20, 50, 80 grand into these houses, or, where do you guys have kind of a numbers like a limit, or
Yeah.
how are you guys deciding where to draw the line, I guess?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. And there are some other companies like that have iBuyer programs and whatnot that do very similar things. I don't know if they call it a Novation themselves, but that's technically what they're doing. We definitely don't do that much renovations and repairs or have that much skin in the game or risk. Just because even when there's deals where we have a couple $1,000s of skin in the game, something can go south and then it turns into legal repercussions and those funds are held up for months. And we do a decent amount of volume of deals, so we do see that every now and then. And I'm sure that there's companies doing hundreds of deals a month that see it way more frequently than that. So for us, we do a lot more of as is novation. So we do light cleanups, minor repairs, maybe a small cash advance or helping with a storage expense or something like that, just getting the property cleaned and then marketing it and taking care of lender required repairs. So I would say for us, usually upfront max we're putting out is a couple grand. But if we find a buyer and we have a B2C contract signed and they have earnest money down, then we'll do any sort of lender required repair or anything that buyer may want done. So that's when we'll put a little more skin in the game. Like there are times where we've done repairs closer to 10 grand, but that's not until we have a contract signed with a buyer who's serious, ready to go, and has actually put down earnest money. Different cities that we're really seeing a lot of traction in and how we can work together with others. Primarily right now, I would say that if someone has leads or needs potential help on innovation, they can definitely reach out to me, and I can assist in that nature. JVing with our company though right now a little bit trickier because we kind of have built this system on autopilot now where we already have dispo people on our team and sales reps, and we're not really JVing deals of that nature. Um, but if someone's local and they're licensed, we're always looking for realtors to list in areas we're not familiar with, or potentially boots on the ground in a local area where we're always happy to compensate people for going and taking pictures for us, things of that nature. And then as far as it goes for markets, pretty much any hot major market that didn't blow up during COVID is still pretty hot for us, and we're still selling deals pretty quick. But Vegas, Orlando, I mean, any big city in Florida, Texas, Vegas, Phoenix, we're seeing inventory rising and days on market increasing. Of course, we still get deals that fly off the shelf in certain little pockets, but I've noticed big slowdowns in a lot of those major cities that blew up during COVID.
When you say blew up, you mean there was a lot of activity and the prices went up rapidly, or blow up meaning it melted down and it became a terrible place to do business?
Good question. Yeah, for clarification, they're the ones that blew up with population increasing and prices increasing drastically. So, I mean, I'm in California myself. I don't know the exact statistics off the top of my head, but I know a lot of people were moving to those areas during COVID because there was less restrictions and whatnot. And I know a lot of those areas just grew drastically in the last 5 years. So we have seen those places definitely kind of softening over the last, not even last couple months. I mean, the last year or so, we've seen a bit of a slowdown there, but specifically more so the last couple months, we've seen an even larger shift. Like there's houses I occasionally help with underwriting at our team. So when our sales reps are talking to sellers, I'll feed them numbers. And I've been seeing a lot of properties in Florida that were bought like 2 years ago for 450 grand. And then we're looking at the same exact house also built a few years ago, same size, listed at 399 with no traction for months. So we've been seeing some big shifts. I'm going to be curious what data looks like in 6 to 12 months from now on some of those big cities in Florida and Texas specifically.
Okay, and so how I'm interpreting then what you just shared is, in essence, people migrated from blue states to red states because they felt like they had more freedoms in the red states.
Yeah, I mean that was kind of a general trend that we saw a while ago too, and a lot of those areas were just up and coming and booming. I know like Nashville was a big city that blew up too, like during the last 5 years, and that's something where that market hasn't really softened as much, at least from what we're seeing with the deals we're doing in Tennessee. Like there are some areas that aren't softening as much, but then there are some areas where it's a little scary at how much some of these markets are softening. I know like Naples, Florida, I think I actually saw like a statistic where that market's down like 12% year over year. And that trend's probably going to keep continuing, especially Florida with that's another aspect too. Texas and Florida, I almost forgot to mention this, the hurricanes, all these troubles with insurance. It's just a whole other fuel to the fire there as well.
Do you think Nashville is still showing strong?
Um, I'm with us being nationwide, I'm not like a master on any of these markets. We do a decent amount of deals, so I will see like trends because I'm usually comping handfuls, dozens of properties a day. Nashville isn't one where we get a ton of leads from. I probably see a couple Nashville leads a week. So I haven't really followed that trend too much. Most of the deals we do, it just happens to be are in Florida and Texas. Just a lot of people buying, moving, selling, population increasing there. Our ad spend is pretty broad in major cities throughout the country, but for some reason, most of our deals happen to be in Florida and Texas. So I follow those trends a little more than other states and cities.
Any more thoughts on like Houston versus the other major cities in Texas?
No, not really, actually. I mean, Houston, the only negative there is it's closer to the coast than like Dallas Fort Worth. So I could see we've seen more issues. I'm trying to think of some of the other areas of Houston that are closer to the coast. I know like you have Sugarland and some other areas that are farther inland more, but we've had some leads and deals closer to the coast that have been harder to sell, or we've had to been more conservative with numbers because of recent hurricane fears. I know we had those two back-to-back hurricanes in Florida. I know that isn't Texas, of course, but I feel like there's just been more people a little hesitant after those two major hurricanes and with all the insurance issues nationwide too, because I know that's even affecting people out here in California with the fires and whatnot, with insurance companies lately.
Meg, you're on with Jack Lander.
Hey, as Darren said, you invest in the Midwest. What about like the greater Des Moines area?
I know we have a deal right there now. As far as it goes for innovation, it's definitely not one of our major spots that we do deals in though. But who knows? There are a lot of random deals. I think we just did one last month in like a town of 4,000 in northern Washington, where I'm like, I don't know where this lead came from, but someone filled out a web form. So we're pretty much all over the place. Just the most consistency, sorry, of deal flow for us is Texas and Florida and like Phoenix, Vegas, areas of Tennessee. We're kind of all scattered out over the Midwest, but I know we do have one current deal in Iowa right now.
Okay, because I drive around a lot and I do see a lot of FISBOs. But most of them are Fort Dodge, which I wouldn't recommend. But I mean, but Des Moines and whatnot, there's a lot of FISBOs in Iowa.
Meg, thanks for joining us. And again, great to see you at the event we had last week and flew in from Iowa to Los Angeles. Thank you so much. Mr. Tim Clark, you're on with Jack Lander. What's up?
Hey JJ, hey Jack.
Hey, Tim.
Thanks for having me on here. Hey, I just had a couple of questions. One was about wholesaling regulations. So maybe this will bring a little clarification for me too on the Novation thing. Do you guys actually purchase the property or you just get it under contract?
Yeah, we just get it under contract. So
Okay, so then that brings in my question, which is with a lot of different states and cities bringing in wholesaling regulation, is that impacting you guys in your business with innovations?
good question. Not significantly. There are a couple states we stay away from, South Carolina
Okay,
and
yeah,
Oklahoma and
okay,
Pennsylvania, and then in Illinois. Um, to kind of circle back to one of Darren's questions, in Illinois,
yeah,
you're limited to doing one deal per year wholesaling without a license.
got it.
And I'm not an attorney or anything like that, just disclaimer.
Oh yeah,
But but it is kind of a gray area question too of wholesale and novation. Like there are some people that say it goes hand in hand, it's the same thing. Other people say they're different. So then there isn't a limit on how many deals you can do, but we'd rather be compliant and as safe as possible. So we treat it just like a wholesale and follow pretty much all state rules that are in place.
that's great. I love that integrity approach. That's awesome. The other question I had was, do you guys are you always the middleman, or do you guys actually buy and hold some properties as well?
Um, we have done some buy and holds before. Kind of like I said at the start, though, it was one of those things where it was almost like shiny object, like, hey, we're in sub two, we're starting to do some deals, let's buy all these deals. And
Right.
we definitely got in over our heads and had to sell some
Okay.
to some investors at losses and whatnot. And we're like, you know what? Let's just get really good at wholesale because this is bottlenecking us. But now with the income we're making in wholesaling, we're definitely going to need some depreciation write-offs and whatnot. So I know at the end of this year, we're for sure going to be looking to buy some deals.
Awesome. Awesome. I was just going to say, because what we specialize in is helping fund like seller carryback deals where you can get into a property for zero down. If you have a motivated seller, which in this market, there's lots of motivated sellers out there. So let me know if you want to coordinate on something like that.
Nice. Yeah. 100%. 100%. We'll definitely be
All
interested
right.
in doing that in the near future.
Awesome. And I know JJ, I know JJ is part of a team right now that's doing all the other kind of funding that you would need for something like that. I'm pretty sure his group does DSCR loans, hard money loans, all those kind of great products that they're going to have available too to help with that kind of a scenario. So just a little plug for JJ and his new
Awesome.
business partnership as well. But thanks again for your time and for your expertise. And yeah, just keep doing a good thing.
Of course. Appreciate it, Tim. Thank you.
All right. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much, Tim. Always good to see you. Troy Caudell is back. Troy, you're back with Jack Lander. What's your question?
I just had a comment about the Illinois comment you made,
Uh-huh.
because I live in Illinois. From my understanding, isn't it? You can wholesale one deal a year, but unless you work through a realtor, which if you're working as a novation, aren't you working through a realtor?
Yep, that's one of those gray area ones. So if you're licensed, you can technically do as many deals as you want in Illinois. That's kind of one of those gray area things where we don't do enough. We don't get tons and tons of leads in Illinois, where for me, it hasn't made sense for us to go contact a real estate attorney in Illinois yet to get 100% clarification on that. But that is something where there is a gray area on that. Like I'm in some private innovation mentorship groups as well. And it's like a 50-50 split. Like there are some people that want to be super, super safe, super compliant, and they're just doing one deal or they're licensed. But then I've heard, kind of like I said, there are other people that say, oh, well, a novation isn't a wholesale. It's not an assignment fee. A lot of the times on the HUD, a novation will be shown as like a marketing fee, a novation fee, or a contract release fee. Those are like the three terms that I've seen the most. So it's technically not an assignment fee that you would make from a typical cash wholesale deal. So kind of a gray area there.
Well, my comment is if you're working through a realtor, can't
Yeah.
you do it anyway?
Um,
Because that's what I understand with the wholesale law in Illinois. If you're going to wholesale and you do it through a realtor, you're good.
yeah, I'm honestly not 100% sure on that. It would make sense though, but then at the same time, it comes down to, hey, this LLC or entity is getting paid this figure on a HUD multiple times in this state. So if something ever happened, they may track those back and say, wait, where did this income come from? What were you doing? How were you involved in this transaction? I totally think what you're saying is 100% accurate in my opinion, but I think we're just a little more cautious. But if more regulation passes, I think we are going to get licensed in certain states if we have to, but I think we still have a couple years until we have to do that because it seems like regulation is slowly coming up, not something that's super drastic affecting tons of states yet.
So, Darren, you wanted to add to that?
Yeah. So in Chicago, for instance, I'm a part of another networking group, and basically the real estate attorney that was there, he was actually a part of the commission in the state of Illinois at the Capitol building, basically working with the Capitol, the congressman and all that stuff. And what the reason why they did it in Illinois was because wholesalers were taking advantage of sellers, and they were saying, oh yeah, we can sell your house. They put them under contract. They never sold the house. And then as a result of that, the people end up losing the house in the foreclosure. And so the state of Illinois incorporated this to protect the sellers, because if the sellers did have more time, then they would have been able to sell the house. And so they're trying to shut down or really reduce the amount of deception that's going on in the industry amongst the wholesalers. And so that's why they did that. Now, the workaround that, the legal workaround is a double close. Obviously, you make double closes are a lot more expensive. But if there's enough money in the deal, you can easily do a double close, and they allow that, and it's not a problem.
Gotcha. Interesting. Okay.
Wow, Jack. So, number of good questions, number of great content that you're sharing there. What's the rest of the year hold for you, or where do you want to go with this? Are you gonna just keep the team on cruise control? Are you looking to kick up your game? You know, add more states or kind of stay where you guys are at? What's in the future for Jack?
Yeah, I think we had a pretty big growth period the last 2 months where we brought on six new sales reps and another TC. So right now, and before that, we had a team of two TCs and three sales reps, or four sales reps actually. So now it's kind of just getting as profitable as possible and getting the team as solid and efficient as possible. So the fat kind of trims itself eventually. So there are some
Yeah.
people with the work ethic that isn't there, or they're not as, they're not hitting quota, not hitting numbers, so they're filtering themselves out. So I think the next couple months for us is just stabilizing and focusing on profitability, and then probably doing another hiring wave in the next 3 to 4 months, and then hopefully hitting 500 plus K a month in
Wow.
the next 6 to 12 months, or most likely 6 months.
So right now you guys have been doing 100 to 200K a month pretty
Two to
consistently.
300. The next 2 months we should clear 300.
Fantastic, brother. I'm gonna say congratulations on what you've done. And
Appreciate it.
as I've said, we've met multiple times, and I don't measure people by their deals. I measure people by what kind of person they are and how they present themselves, their character, their integrity. I got a pretty good people picker, and my people picker gives you a thumbs up. So it's a pleasure talking
Appreciate
to a
that.
friend. So Jack, before we roll into the breakout rooms, I've got two last questions for you. So, Jack, if people watching on YouTube or on the call right now, or particularly watching on YouTube weeks and months down the line, want to connect with you, what's the best way to reach you? Would it be your socials? Do you have a website, email address?
Yeah, the best place to find me would be on Facebook or Instagram. Facebook, my name, Jack Lander, or on Instagram, the Jack, last name is spelled a little differently. It's just LNDR. And I will definitely be posting more content on that page in the coming months. I haven't posted on that in a while.
My last question for you before we go to the breakout rooms. Um, I have a networking group, and I'm always talking about networking. And there are people coming to real estate investment programs such as Sub2, Gator, Astro, Thrive, Clever Investor, so many education programs out there, seven-figure flipping. Um, there's so many people coming every day that are brand new as well as experienced investors. Um, Coming to learn how to do investment, if not exponentially increase their real estate business. From your standpoint as an investor, what is the importance of social media, networking, leveraging the internet, things like Facebook and Instagram? How important is that to the success of someone's business?
Huge. Absolutely huge. And it's silly that I say this right now because we just looked at my Facebook and my Instagram, and I'm pretty much invisible. I'm not active on it anymore. But that was a huge stepping stone to get me to where I'm at today. It's just because I've been laser focused the last year and my head's been kind of down, where I haven't really been networking or doing too much. But I literally met my business partner, JJ, at your first meetup there at Griffith Park, right?
Yep.
Yeah, at Griffith Park, and I made my Facebook a lot more visible previously. About 2 years ago, I was doing a ton of outreach, ton of networking. I had a little Calendly set up. I was talking to three, four, five, six, whatever, 10 people a day for a good couple months. And then I had me and my partner would host Zooms, and we'd usually have, 20 to 50 people in there wanting to learn about sub two deals, and they would bird dog cold call for us, and we would pay them finder's fees. So that was really how we kind of started our business, and then that shifted from that to about a year and a half later, running inbound marketing and running like a multi seven figure business. So that was a huge thing for me, because if I didn't join your group, go to your picnic, focus on marketing myself and networking, I don't think we'd be where we're at today without that.
Wow, thank you so much, just for the input and the acknowledgement of my group playing some small role, in your progression and success, because you have really done it right. And watching you for the last couple of years has been a joy, and I think in a great part because you're doing it right, meaning you're leading with your character, you're leading with your personality, you're leading with your friendship. And in that regard, I'm just saying you're doing it right. So congratulations to you, my friend.
Appreciate it, JJ. Thank you very much. It means a lot, and a lot of nuggets that you've dropped have helped me out a ton too. So I really appreciate you and everything you're doing for the community as well.
Thank you so much, Jack. Hey, if you guys are watching on YouTube right now, please like Jack's video. Please put in the comment section down below what your takeaways were, what you really found most informative. If there's some way that I can help you, feel free to reach out to me. Scan the turquoise QR code to register for my group. If you want to see Jack's video, all the other videos that we've got over 350 videos on my YouTube channel. Scan the purple QR code here, subscribe to the channel, and you'll see the videos every time they're dropped. Again, if you want to connect with Jack, you're going to want to get a hold of Jack on either his Instagram page, which is the Jack Lander, LNDR, or his Facebook page, which is Jack Lander. So send him a message. Guys, never send out a friend request without sending a message. I'll tell you that right now. Don't leave people wondering who you are, why you're adding them, where you come from, what you have in common. If you're on the call, don't go away. We're going to go to some breakout rooms and talk to Jack a little bit more. Jack, in the meantime, before I go to the breakout rooms, we'll see everybody else in the world of virtual networking, right? Facebook, Instagram, and the internet.
Yes, sir. Correct. Correct. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, my friend. See y'all later.